thank you so much, and thank you so much for spending time with us today. I can't believe, actually, that this is our fourth Zero Waste Conference. It seems like just yesterday we planted the seed with ourselves at Metro Vancouver to say, you know what, there's a lot to talk about here. There's a lot of noise going on about what we need to do, what we should do. And we said, you know what, it'd be great if we could get everybody in the same room, bring in some incredible speakers so that really the zero waste champions that are in this room here today can be the champions out in our communities. And I think that's what we've tried to do. I think that's what we've succeeded in doing. And no doubt there's good and lively debates about how to get to zero waste, but I think everyone will agree we're all working in the same direction to try to get there. So it's my pleasure to introduce one of our main partners in getting to zero waste. That's the provincial government. And they've made many initiatives over the last little bit to actually help with legislation or direction on how to get to zero waste. So it's our pleasure for the second year in a row now to have the Honourable Mary Polak, the Minister of Environment, to give us some welcoming remarks. Minister Polak, his current role, she last year, and so this is her second year at our Zero Waste Conference. I've been a good friend of local government, worked with Minister Polak in the Minister of Transportation when she was there before, which was maybe a little bit of a dicier file than zero waste sometimes. It depends, I guess, on the week. She was Minister of Aboriginal Relations and Reconciliation, Minister of Children and Family Development, Minister of Healthy Living and Sport, Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Health, and also comes somewhat from a local government background, was a school board trustee and chair of the Surrey School Board during her time there. Minister, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Really. I am going to be very kind to you in that I'm going to put my watch right here so that I keep us on time, because at a conference like this, I know you have an awful lot of things. Oh, that's okay. Sorry, I was trying to do it so I could see you better, but I think then it gets too loud, so we won't do that. I want to keep you on time because I know that you are here to hear from a whole lot of very amazing and engaging speakers. And I hope I can engage you to a certain extent, but I know I'm not going to come up to the standard of what you're going to hear from some of the experts. But maybe what I can do is start by offering some thoughts on the philosophy and the approach that has arisen as we've all wrestled with the notion of zero waste. And I want to start with this idea, and I'm reminded of it even in the introduction from our technical folks. When you see up on the screen all the different technological advantages that you have at a conference now that you didn't have just a few years before. Have you ever had the experience of walking into your typical electronics store, and I've seen this, and seeing a very small child walk up to one of these big screen TVs and go like this, right? I mean, I struggle to figure out how to use my iPad and apps and what have you, and probably I should just ask a 4-year-old. The point is that change is disruptive. It has its positives, but we all know it has its challenges. Any of you that have been involved in the implementation of extended producer responsibility, specifically in BC, MMBC, you know that change is disruptive. It has been disruptive for me, certainly. But this is where you come in. You may think of yourself as the person who, oddly, is interested in zero waste, and when you talk to your friends about it around dinner, they look at you with a quizzical expression and think, well, isn't that kind of strange? It's disruptive. All that we are proposing now is disruptive. And if we're going to get anywhere, we need to embrace all that comes with that. I'm reminded of, again, a child example. Being in a room, in a classroom in Langley at a school called Douglas Park Elementary. And young students, very proud to show me what they had in their classroom that was getting them to zero waste. The responsibility that each of the team members felt, these young children, 7, 8 years old, as they performed their duties, each one having a job, taking care of a particular area of sorting, understanding where the different materials go, making sure that they get a chance to have that coveted job of taking all their recycled materials down to the central area where they would then be collected and taken by the recyclers to their depot. They understood not just that this was a classroom project, but these very young children understood that by doing that small thing, they were having an impact far over here. They were going home and telling their parents that here's how you do things. This is the way we should do that. That's disruptive. I look at places locally that have been successes, places like the Cowichan Valley. Cowichan Valley Regional District. Is anybody here from Cowichan Valley Regional District today? Don't be shy if you're here. I'm about to say something nice about you. I don't see anybody waving hands madly. Maybe they're just being anonymous. But here's a jurisdiction, notably on Vancouver Island, small jurisdiction, population of about only 80,000 people. No real economies of scale for them to get that. And they have very high transportation costs. But here's what they've achieved. They now have the lowest, sorry, I'm going to say this the wrong way. Now I'm going to get it right. They generate less waste per person than any other developed nation in the world. Think about that. And without all the advantages of some of our major cities and major communities, it's part of the goals that we've set as a ministry. We have two important goals that we want to reach by 2020. We want to lower the municipal solid waste disposal rate from 587 kilograms to less than 350 kilograms per person. And we want to have 75% of BC's population covered by organic waste disposal bans. Those are big goals. They're disruptive goals. You're getting a theme here, right? I am really pleased, though, to note that we've already met our goal for 2015 when it comes to organics diversion. So we're on the right track. There are several local governments that have put strategies in place that include curbside pickup of organics and landfill bans. And about 66% or so of British Columbians now live in a regional district with a current or upcoming ban on organic waste in the landfills. And that includes Metro Vancouver. Metro plans to implement an organic waste ban beginning in 2015. We really have a tremendous opportunity in British Columbia to lead in disrupting the status quo, to lead in disrupting what people think is an inevitability. But tackling this begins with the area of education and awareness. It's one of the reasons that we have sought to join forces with other partners, and most recently with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency's program, Food Too Good to Waste. It focuses on creating simple changes, like encouraging small shifts in how consumers shop, prepare, and store food. Have any of you seen those commercials about Men's Health, where they have the guy making small changes? I see some guys kind of smiling and chuckling. When I first saw that commercial, I thought, now that's what we need to be talking about to people, everyday people, in terms of their habits around waste. Get across the point that it doesn't need to be a huge change all at once and dramatically in your life. It's those little disruptions along the way that can make all the difference. We're also pleased to be working with the National Zero Waste Council, and we're targeting both the commercial and the institutional sectors. And this is going to be complicated. Yes, this is going to be complicated. This is going to be complemented by the ministry directly supporting local governments with educational materials and resources as they consider organics collection programs and disposal bans. We're also closely tracking waste disposal rates with regional districts across the province through Environmental Reporting BC, which you can view on the ministry's website. And to support this, the ministry is using ReTrack. It's an online waste reporting tool being provided to local governments. It's a leading-edge tool. It is quickly being adopted by local governments and agencies and product stewards all across North America. I want to talk a little bit about extended producer responsibility. Those of you from local governments know the challenges that have faced us in that disruptive world where you start to shift responsibility to the producers. And nowhere has that been more disruptive than in the field of packaging and printed paper. I'm pleased to say that in spite of some bumps along the road, we now have about 170 service agreements in place with local governments and contractors across British Columbia, and the province-wide implementation will continue through 2015. We're going to be monitoring all that happens with MMBC and with extended producer responsibility in that area, but we think we're well on our way, and we believe that in spite of the disruptive nature of it, it's going to be another feature program in a long list. In fact, we probably have the largest number of extended producer responsibility programs of any jurisdiction in North America. We have 24 active at this moment. In closing, I want to just highlight for you the importance of embracing the difficulties that come with all the various decisions that will have to be made as we try to approach 100% diversion, zero waste. You cannot achieve those things without radically changing the way everyday people think and work and live. People don't like changes like that. They're uncomfortable. But as leaders in whatever field you find yourself, it's our job to find that path. It's our job to mark out the trail. It's our job to find a way to make this real in people's everyday lives, because without the communities coming alongside with us, we will not be successful. The good news is we do have incredible people like the National Zero Waste Council working on this file each and every day and dedicated to the goals that we have set before us. So as you listen to a series of engaging and inspiring speakers today, I hope what you will be thinking about and taking away is how you can continue to be that leader in the place in which you are, to be the one who helps to find that path. And collectively, I know that we will reach our goals and we will do it together. And in the end, the disruption that we have created will settle out into a world that is much cleaner and is seeing diversion rates that we can all be very, very proud of. Thank you for your attendance today and for your attention to this issue. Thank you.